Hey everyone, it's Ben. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today, of course, is the second part of the San Francisco Film Noir series that I want to do this week, focusing on some noir, horror, thriller films that have been shot in San Francisco. Yesterday I did Twisted, and today I'm going to do The Game, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Love this film, great film, and really looking forward to talking about it, telling you how I feel about it, and why it's so important to me. And I hope everybody enjoys the review, so stay tuned for that. So, The Game. The movie was released in 1997. It was directed by David Fincher, starring Michael Douglas, Sean Penn, and Deborah Kara Unger. An interesting side note on this film is that I actually was in the city when they were filming it. I was actually on a date and I got lost in the city looking for California Street. I pulled my car over, went into a hotel, and asked for directions to California Street, not being, having grown up in the Bay Area, but not being around the city driving very much. Driving in the city is not fun. But I noticed that there was this one area of Market Street that was all blocked off with big lights and everything. And I asked what was going on over there, and the guy told me that they were shooting a film with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn, which I thought was pretty cool. And then a year later, this was in 1996, and then a year later the film would be released. So The Game is not a film for everyone, but it is a film that I think gets better upon repeat viewings. The first time I saw it, it was very confusing. I think because it is such a different style of film. It is very noir in the way it's shot, especially I think the use of the cinematography, the way that it looks, the music by Howard Shore is amazing. But it is a film that requires repeat viewings because I think when you first watch it, there's so much that's happening, especially as the film starts to move rather quickly during the second act, that you'll be going, what's happening? And it's a film that, like I said, upon repeat viewings, it's become my favorite film, and until one of my favorite films by David Fincher, and until recently with Girl with Dragon Tattoo and Zodiac, it was my favorite Fincher film. I liked it more than Seven. I liked it more than Fight Club, and I don't know why, but it's just one of those films that I never get tired of watching. I could watch it a million times and still have the same impact from it. To give a little overview about the film, Michael Douglas plays Nicholas Van Orton. He's a man who thrives on having control of all things in his life. He's born of immense wealth. He lives a very miserly-like existence. He keeps his colleagues and family at bay, never showing much emotion in either his personal life or his work life. On his 48th birthday, the same age his father was when he committed suicide, Nicholas is given a birthday gift from his brother, his estranged brother Conrad, played by Sean Penn. And the gift is a game, and it's put on by a company known as CRS. Once Nicholas accepts the game as his gift after visiting the CRS office and signing up for it, it throws his life into completely off balance. Everything that he had control of in both his personal and his private life is completely thrown into disarray. And all the while, it's almost like the audience and Nicholas are kind of tied together as the film progresses, and you're wondering, is it really a game, or is somebody trying to blackmail him? So, without giving too much of the film away, it's one of those films that you're just going, how did they do that? How are they doing this? It's such a great film, and Michael Douglas says Nicholas Van Orton is just so good in the film. I've always been an admirer of the actor. I liked him and grew up in like Romancing the Stone, and then of course Fatal Attraction and Basic Instinct and Disclosure. I mean, he's done some terrific performances, but for some reason this will always be my favorite movie that he's done, and I think it's because he's such a bastard when you first meet Nicholas. He's completely cut off from society. He treats his family like shit. He treats his business colleagues like shit. He just is such a miserable man, and yet he has everything. And that's one of the lines. What do you give the man that has everything? It's something his brother says to him when he gives him the gift. So to see at first you don't really like Nicholas, and I think throughout the course of the film, when he is given these challenges and when his life is thrown off course, you see what a good man he really is, and that he's sort of been in this cloud of misery his whole life, and I think it all stems going back to his father, who was a workaholic and eventually committed suicide, and it's almost like the son is repeating the same mistakes his father made, and that's something that's hinted at very strongly in the film. Sean Penn is in the film, but he's not in it very much. But the times that he is in the film, he is very good as Conrad, the sort of estranged brother of Nicholas, who's always been sort of the one that's gotten in trouble, and Nicholas has always bailed him out. So you really get that sense from these few scenes that there are between Nicholas and Conrad. And Sean Penn, who I'm not a huge fan of, does really good in this film. And Deborah Kara Unger is this mysterious woman that Nicholas comes into contact with, and she plays Christine. She is very good in the film, and the chemistry between the two actors is very, very palpable, very good. The film was written by John Brancato and Michael Ferris, but the rumor is that Andrew Kevin Walker, who had previously worked with Fincher on the script for Seven, did a sort of a small rewrite of it before it went into production. But again, this film, I just cannot stress how much I love this film. It's just one of those films that I never get tired of. And I recommend anybody who has not seen The Game to see it as soon as you can. I'm very disappointed that they never released the special edition that they released in Europe over here on DVD, because I would really like to see it, because it does have a commentary by Fincher, and this one that I have is just a bare bones DVD with just the trailer. But again, love this film. Recommend everybody that hasn't seen it to see it. And again, thank you for watching this. One thing before I go, leaving out is there are some great uses of San Francisco locales in this. Something I didn't bring up earlier, but I think one of the best ones is when there's a taxi cab collision right underneath the Bay Bridge. That shot is just amazing. They also used some of the streets where I used to work in the city, which is kind of cool, like Folsom and Howard. So it's like really cool to see some of those areas, and just it's not as glamorously shot in terms of showing the city as it did in Twisted, but the city is put to really good use in this film. And like I said before, go out and check out this film if you get a chance to. It's really worth it. And just remind yourself, you're going to have to watch it probably a couple times to really have the impact of it. But love this film, love The Game. Really appreciate y'all watching this, and look forward to my third part in the series coming tomorrow. Thanks a lot.